you shouldn't throw bottom line out the window for October and just pray that you have a huge November and December. You shouldn't forfeit a strong November and December in order to save October. You want to make sure that you're still doing the things that you know will drive a big Black Friday, Cyber Monday, alongside obviously trying to protect your bottom line a bit. If you need to become a little bit more efficient, focus on that this month, but just make sure that you're not just getting a bunch of discounts out there to your list and focusing only on spend on retargeting. That'll overall impact Q4 a lot more negatively than kind of staying the course a little bit, trying to be as efficient as possible, but making sure you're spending into prospecting, you're keeping your list warm, but not sending them a ton of discounts right now, all that kind of stuff.
It's all killer, no filler. I'm Eric, and this is an emergency broadcast about Meta in Q4 with Pilothouse's Meta team brain trust, all the team leads, Taylor, Jacob, and Nate on the Meta ad side. Welcome to the podcast, guys. I want to just kick it off by let's talk a little bit about the macro situation with Meta ads right now. Nate, tell us the truth.
Yeah, I would say, just like I was saying prior to jumping on, the overall October's been a little bit tougher than I think a lot of people are expecting. But if you really break it down, overall 2023 has been a little bit slower. There's a lot of brands out there that are down 20% year over year. Macroeconomic trends aren't looking, as great. There's, recession fears, inflation, all these things that are affecting consumer behavior, and overall just driving down that buying intent a little bit. And so when you compound that with the, pretty standard drop that we tend to see in October when people are waiting for those sales to come in November, I think we're seeing exactly what you could have expected if you really forecasted it out over the past couple months. I still expect November to do the same thing November always does. We see this big, increase in conversion rate after the first, week or 2 weeks in November. Big spike over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Holiday spending will still likely be pretty strong. But I think overall, we're just seeing kind of the impact of, the overall macro, issues that are going on right now, compounded with the standard drop that we tend to see in October, just because of people waiting. And I think
October lull.
Some people might be a little bit tighter on money right now. Gas is expensive, groceries are expensive, inflation, interest rates, all this kind of stuff. People are waiting probably a little bit more than ever for those Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales that they know are going to come. So I think what's really important right now is that it shouldn't really change the overall strategy of how you approach Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And I think a potential negative effect of all this is that a lot of brands will likely try to do everything they can right now to get their bottom lines up and to drive revenue. And that means discounting really heavy right now, or, dropping spend a bunch, focusing on retargeting and trying to convert people that are already low in their funnel. And while that might actually help your October a little bit, it's going to be pretty detrimental to the success over the next couple months. If you deplete that bottom of funnel, you empty your bucket, and you push discounts to all these people that are hoping for discounts in the next couple months, then your November, December is likely going to be a little bit smaller. So I think it's important to continue to focus on top of funnel, filling your bucket, and look at Q4 as a whole rather than looking at October performance specifically and then comparing it to things like September and August.
Stay the course.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the top performing stuff right now is addressing that. People want giveaways, they want free stuff. I'm seeing giveaway lead costs come in cheaper this year than last year. Obviously people are just looking for that, that handout too. And, utilizing those strategies to build up that top of funnel now is definitely still something you want to do. And like Nate said, it should still pay itself off. Data is always good to have. And the fact that it is still out there to get is working. It's just that intent has been slow for sure.
Is this particular giveaway one of the products that the client is promoting essentially, or what is the actual giveaway in this case?
We've actually done both versions. So some clients are doing giveaways of just, some bundle they have that's related to the season, things like that. And it's working great, getting leads in under $1 in some cases, with great open rates in the actual emails as well, the follow-up. Some brands have the partnerships, where they're collabing there with whether it's an influencer or another brand, and those are working well too. Obviously, the key is the follow up strategy, and that's kind of where we're getting into now that we're getting into November.
All of that to say, you shouldn't obviously just throw bottom line out the window for October and just pray that you have a huge November and December. I just think that you shouldn't like forfeit a strong November and December in order to save October, right? You want to make sure that you're still doing the things that will drive a big Black Friday, Cyber Monday, alongside obviously trying to protect your bottom line a bit. If you need to become a little bit more efficient, focus on that this month, but just make sure that you're not, just getting a bunch of discounts out there to your list and focusing only on spend on retargeting, that kind of thing, because that'll overall impact Q4 a lot more negatively than kind of staying the course a little bit, trying to be as efficient as possible, but making sure you're spending into prospecting, you're keeping your list warm, but not sending them a ton of discounts right now, all that kind of stuff.
What are in terms of the platform, Taylor, like in terms of the actual, the new tools that Facebook Meta has rolled out this year, what are some of the bright spots in terms of the campaign types, the features, the settings that are kind of working best right now?
Yeah, there definitely are some interesting gains that we're seeing in different places as well. So a pretty recent one is Advantage Plus audiences in business as usual campaigns. So being able to leverage that style of audience within an ABO or CBO campaign rather than an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, that's definitely making a bit of a difference. The cool thing there too is you can set max exclusions, you can layer on high intent lookalikes, interests, all that kind of stuff. So we're seeing some results there with that. Advantage Plus shopping too. Again, it's a campaign type that we typically are a little bit careful with. I know a typical kind of best practice Meta recommends is roughly 30% of your spend, kind of minimum, going through those. We see those as a supplementary campaign in accounts typically, but seeing success and consistency in some of those as well. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is pretty standard stuff, kind of the ebbs and flows we typically see, and continuing to feed your top evergreen ads and everything that comes through all of our testing methodologies into the different structures that we test on an account by account basis. That's really the major takeaway from my end.
Nice. Well, that leads us right into testing, and something we talk about all the time. I think regular listeners of the podcast will be familiar with the pilot test. We have multiple branded things in this company. We've got All Killer No Filler. We've got Pilot Test. We've got Pilothouse. We've got the Pilot Method, which I think is the Pilot Test. But for those that are maybe just learning, talk a little bit. Just someone summarize the Pilot Test for me real quick. And let's talk a little bit about why it's so effective, and it's something that sort of all accounts need to be thinking of.
Really, it's just that essence of isolating all your creative, not needing too much budget before learning the winners out of that. And then same with your copy, same with your angles. Sometimes you're doing audiences. There's all these different sort of tests, but the overall theme of the pilot test is isolate those, like have your creative. Have some generic ad copy paired with this creative. You have images, you got videos, you got consumer generated content, you have, all these different sort of contrasting ideas, paired with some sort of broad copy that doesn't take away from those creatives. You test that, 2-3 days in, you start to see pretty clearly the front end metrics that are, Facebook is latching onto. Which ones are generating the clicks, and then not only that, the actual add to carts, the initiate checkouts, looking a bit down funnel as well. Sometimes you get purchases right out of that, and you just cut through like a lot of fat quickly. And then same with the ad copy, same idea. You have all this short form, testimonial, long form, paired with kind of a broad generic ad creative, and you quickly take the winners out of these things, the audiences, the creatives, the copy, and you start to pair these into your what we call like solidified sort of evergreen ads that, they get proven out before you're just working this stuff into your large campaigns. And it's kind of the idea, and every account's a little different on how they structure it. But yeah.
And then how often? So essentially it's to find winners. I think finding winning creatives is kind of the name of the game. It's we talk about creative becoming the new targeting with on people on the podcast all the time. And so this is a systematic way to do this in a way that produces more and more winners. How often are we running pilot tests on our accounts? Is it something you set and forget, you find your winner and then you leave it, or are we constantly running through pilot tests on these accounts?
Yeah, I mean, so usually you would do it right off the hop. So like when we, come onto an account and are starting to work with a brand, we would do a series of pilot tests where first we focus on figuring out what angles work best, do it methodically and scientifically, move on to copy, figure out what copy styles work best, then creative, all the things that Jacob just said. But then it's kind of ongoing. Like if you come up with, 5 new angles, you should be doing it basically just, throughout the testing process. So come up with new angles or new creative styles. You can use a pilot test structure to make sure that you're testing them, isolating variables, actually measuring what works and how much it's beating the baseline by. It doesn't mean all of the testing that we do is in a pilot test framework. It's more so for testing very specific things where we need to be able to make sure that we're isolating the variables and actually have data on how well it's performing over the baseline. Like I said, there are other testing styles that we do as well. Once we get to higher scale, we do more kind of scale testing where we're testing concepts that we think will work because they're a combination of things that have worked in the past against our top performing audiences, things like that. But really, you should be doing it on an ongoing basis, but not all of the spend goes to pilot test.
Marketers, if you're finding yourself manually creating segments on Shopify and then waiting 20 minutes to download just so you can upload to Google, Meta, or Attentive to keep your audiences in sync, try Trestle Segments. Segments makes segmentation easy and profitable. Choose from pre-built audiences backed by data or make your own. Segments will keep synced across Klaviyo, Meta, TikTok, and more. They've just launched Filter GPT, so now you can segment using natural language. For example, just say, customers who bought during last year's holidays but ghosted since, and voila, it's done for you, ready for retargeting. Isn't AI wonderful? Try it today at trestle.co/DTC. That's TRESL.co/DTC for a special offer. I think we can probably introduce the fact that one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is that we're also launching a re-release of the course, Meta Ads ScaleSchool, that we produced in November of 2021. We originally made this course like right after iOS 14.5, when a lot of people were scrambling to find a repeatable, scalable method for their Meta ads. And, that year went by with sort of hundreds of students we had through there. We literally had a Meta ad executive tell us that it was the greatest piece of Meta ads training that was ever created, which was a huge feather in our cap. And we looked at it earlier this year and we're like, okay, can we re-release the course? And fundamentally, there was enough value in the course that we could have re-released it. It like a lot of the same structures are the same, but enough has changed on the platform that we basically were like, Cam, we want you to project manage this course with these 3 gentlemen here who lead our Meta Ads team. And so we kind of codified all of their learnings down into one ScaleSchool Meta Ads course. Cam, just take the mic a little bit. Talk a little bit about your experience building this course out.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. We released ScaleSchool originally, and a lot has changed. I sat down with these guys and looked at the original curriculum and kind of decided what needed to be updated and honestly what needed to stay the exact same, since the original was a pretty good piece of content for a lot of marketers. And we just divided and conquered. So these 3 guys each have their own kind of module or section within the course where we kind of take anyone from a beginner level marketer on Meta all the way through to more advanced strategies for scale with Nate in the very tail end of the course, as well as focusing on a lot of the creative strategy and process that goes into producing content for the pilot test that we just talked about, as well as some post-click and some landing page and some basics of CRO that we utilize at Pilothouse. So for lack of better words, yeah, things have just changed quite a bit over the last 2 years. We're heading into a challenging time, or what could be a challenging time for some brands, given all of the things that Nate talked about to open this discussion. And it was just a perfect time to re-release the course with some revised content, as well as throwing in a bunch of new bonuses this time around for marketers so they get some extra value in the course.
Yeah, I'm excited for all those. There's an Amazon course, or an Amazon Launchpad course, a Google Launchpad course, as well as the Facebook Launchpad course on top of the Meta Ads. There's a CRO course. There's all of our best landing pages, all of our best creatives, really stacking the value there. And what I'm really excited for is we're also launching, like, it's available through the month of October. ScaleSchool is available through the month of October at a crazy discount. We'll link to it in the show notes here. You can check it out. And we're also offering another thing for the first time, which is an annual pass to what we're calling group coaching calls. And I know details are early on this, but what we do know is that we're going to be doing live group coaching calls with the three of you guys, with Cam, with myself, on a monthly basis for those that are like really ready to accelerate their results. So like you can get the video course as a standalone option, and all of the data that you need is in there. All of the content that you need is in there. But if you're looking for more of a hands-on guided approach where you're going to be able to connect with your teachers and talk about your results, your challenges, what you need to overcome, this annual group coaching pass is a really great option. So I hope we get some people taking us up on that.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of figure the structure out as we go, which I think is kind of the excitement. We'll get some incorporation or some feedback from students, but these guys are on audits all day, every day, meeting with awesome DTC brands. They've got a ton of knowledge across the industry, and I think that's the value for those students who want to purchase the actual course plus coaching, is they get to sit in on meetings, twice a month with these guys, rotating sessions, and ask them any questions they have about their Beta Ad account, as well as the course content to get the most out of ScaleSchool version 2.
Unbelievable. There was one question that is fun. My friend Jason started saying I ask this to everyone, and this is sort of we'll finish with ScaleSchool. You got to go check it out. The link will be in the notes of this show. But I wanted to ask, what is the best offer you've ever run? What's the most effective? So we're heading into Q4 where people are going to be testing multiple different kinds of offers. I wanted to ask if any of you could chime in with the most effective offer you've ever run and why you think it works so well.
On my end, spent millions with literally just a 25% off site wide. It's a brand that typically didn't have many sales. Maybe they do 10% for new customers, things like that. And just 25% off site wide, every product, auto loading in the checkout, not a code, putting that up front into your ad, the headlines and everything, limited time only, 25% off, very simple and applies to every product. And that was easily by far the best one I've ever ran.
Was that a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale? Yeah,
it was pretty much all through November into December. They kind of switched up the languaging and stuff, but just kept the same offer going. It's working so well.
And that works so well. This is the Apple of their category. And so they never discount. And so I can see that being hyper effective. Nate, do you have any offers that you've run that just absolutely slayed?
Yeah, I mean, for something like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, simplicity tends to work best. So it's just a flat dollar or percentage off, whatever seems like the bigger deal, tend to work best. We've done some cool BOGOs and stuff like that have performed really well. But I do have one that we did for... It's not super applicable to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but for a client that it was basically like a digital product that people had to sign up to. And it was a win for the client to just get somebody to sign up to the product or service. And so what we did was we actually tested a bunch of different offers, and Cam and I did this together, but there was one where we were giving away, there was a big heat wave. And so anybody who signed up to the service got a little mini air conditioner that we were sending to them. And it only increased our cost per acquisition by, $10 or $15 or whatever it cost us to buy the thing and ship it to them. But it decreased our actual on-platform CAC by, 20, 25, $30 at the time. So did stuff like that, or like Amazon gift cards, or, skip the dishes or whatever else it might be. But basically just offering some additional incentivization outside of the actual product offer or what the brand even sold. So that was a pretty cool one that worked really, really well. We spent millions through those offers.
Very cool. Gift with purchase.
Not super applicable to this one, but yeah, gift with purchase basically, but outside of what the brand actually offered itself.
Very cool. Taylor, anything to add there?
One of my favorites is probably Halloween sales successes, mainly from a combination of the offer styles that Nate and Jacob mentioned, but also I think creative being a big part of that, like getting to really play with some fun themes that you don't see in ads every day or constantly. And we did a flat dollar off in that instance for a pretty premium kind of higher AOV product where the perceived value of that outweighed percentage generally from testing that we'd done too. So yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure.
No better way than to kick off Q4 than kick it off with a good Halloween sale. We don't talk about that a lot. So to find ScaleSchool, you can just go to directtoconsumer.co, our homepage, click on education, take you right there. This offer that we have going for October is pretty unprecedented. What is it, like a 60 something percent off, Cam?
75% off. How's that for Q4 discount?
75% off.
But only until the end of the month.
Only till the end of the month. And also the group coaching calls are discounted as well, which is crazy considering how valuable those things are. So hope you guys take advantage of this. As listeners, we know we got a lot of Meta advertisers in the audience base. So I hope this helps out a lot of you guys. So thanks again.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're not getting the D2C newsletter, you can subscribe for free at directtoconsumer.co. And if you want to learn more about Pilothouse's all-killer, no-filler services, take off to pilothouse.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.